Okay.
Yay, we're here.
Hi, we're here
Hello.
again. I feel like I've got this big, huge face here. This whole Zoom thing, it's such a weird phenomenon. Here we are all Zooming each other in
I
this.
know, I've never put so many Zoom dates in my calendar before. It's
I
like Zoom,
know.
Zoom, Zoom, Zoom.
I
Yeah,
know, for
it's the
real.
Yeah,
new normal in this Corona
mhm,
time.
I
But
know.
totally.
how do you feel? Do you feel like it's still pretty connected to people, or is it just not the same at all?
No, I don't feel it's the same. I mean, I try so hard to be connected, but you
Yeah.
know, as I'm excited to share with you guys. And first, I'd just like to
Yay.
say thank you for having
Aw.
me. I love your guys' sister energy and that you guys
Yay.
are creating a happy escape for people that you say, and I like how you guys bring two different perspectives. Like, I love your story of like one sister in the suburbs and one sister in LA, and how you guys are living it and still keeping your sister connection. So it's a pleasure to be part of your guys' podcast. And so thanks for having me.
Aw,
Oh my gosh, thank you for
absolutely.
being here.
Yeah.
I
We're so
know.
happy to have
Mhm.
you.
I've
Yeah.
set my sights on you from about a year ago when we got to know each other in the garden at
Yeah.
school, and we're both
Uh-huh.
moms. And yeah, we just kind of are like-minded with all these projects and stuff. But
Mhm.
why don't you just jump in? Tell us what you do, kind of what
Sure.
your
Well,
background is, all that good
okay.
stuff.
Sounds
Yeah.
good. Well, my name is Laura Haver, and I am a coach and a writer, a mom, an athlete, a beach lover, and now a homeschooler, a homeschool teacher. That's my
Yes.
newest thing to the list.
Yep. Me
And
too.
yeah, I know it's fun, right? It's just like it's different. It's a challenge, but it's something interesting to do with the kids. And I'm just trying my best to make the best of the situation, which is really what I focus on in my coaching and my writing. Is life's not perfect. It's never going to be perfect, but how can I take whatever I can do my best work to make it the best that I can, right? So now it's
Totally.
like really putting all these things that I've been studying for the past couple of decades into reality check. Like, oh wow, how can I actually do this? Like, this is for real. This is like ultimate level, like
Here we
make the
go.
best of a crazy situation, and
Yeah,
Yeah.
holding that
absolutely.
space for my family and for the people around.
Right, right. What is
Hmm.
your background? How did you get into life coaching and
Do
what
you
was your
call it life coaching specifically, or are there different terms, or how do
There's
you
yeah.
different
describe
there's
it?
all different types of coaching. So
Yeah.
I just am still like a generalist coach because I do so different coaching. Like, I was a tennis coach for years. I coached my son's basketball team. I just like to help people learn through play, learn through fun. And so life coaching, I think, would be the best description of it. I can go into detail more of like the people that I specifically help, but like, I also like your guys' childhood nicknames, like Mouse and Weens. So when I was a kid, my childhood nickname was Play Maloney. That's my maiden name. And like
Oh,
my childhood friends still joke around and call me Play. And I just like to turn things into play and to keep bringing that childlike wonder to life. So it's sort of my passion. Like, I'm very interested in learning. I've just been a lifelong learner. I have a master's in international communication, and I've been studying happiness, well-being, and just how I can share that knowledge with other people so they don't have to put in all the time that I've put in, how to help them get the results they want in their life faster
right. Because
and
there
with
is
fun.
science behind happiness, right? I mean, it really
Hmm.
is like a brain thing and a chemical thing. And yeah.
Hmm.
And so
And there's
now,
things that you like think that will make you happy, and you're like, well, I'm going to do this because I think this makes me happy. But technically, like, they're just miswantings. They're off base, and you're like, oh. So it's just nice to learn those things and
right.
So
take
is
people.
there, I don't want to go too far off on that
Yeah,
track, but that's going to be one of the big questions in life, I think, is
yeah.
how to be more happy. But is that something that is, how do you even start with someone? Do you sit down with them and get to know them first, or?
Yeah, there's different ways, and depending on what kind of coaching that they sign up for. There's like one-on-one coaching where you could do a deep dive, and you fill out your intake survey, and I get to know you, do a call. And then there's like group, there's also different group options, which is really fun because you can bring like-minded people together, kind of create a cool mastermind and have people learn off each other. So there's lots of different ways to do it. Um,
And I
I
saw
don't
on
know.
your website too, you offer like a one-on-one call to get people
Oh, right. Right
going. And
now, it's so crazy, right? It's so crazy.
yeah, yeah.
So, like, for example, I'll just tell you guys a story. So, the other day, so it was last Friday. Last Friday, I like the first 2 weeks I had my initial meltdown, like, oh my gosh, what's happening? We can't leave the house. What is this? Are my parents going to be okay? Like all these things. Are my husband's business going to be okay? All these things.
Mm-hmm.
And then I made it through. I had pretty good 2 weeks. And then last Friday, I had this moment where I was like, I'm a mess. My house is a mess. My drawers are a mess. I can't, like, I'm a mess. Like, I like lost it. I like pulled stuff out. And then like my neighbors were like, come in the street and say hi. So I went down there and like, I just had like a meltdown all last weekend.
Yeah.
And then finally on Monday, I was like, Laura, you study this, you do this. This is what you do. You're prepared for this. And suddenly when that happened, I had been giving up all my good practices that kept my inner well-being and my happiness. So that's when I created this daily sanity checklist. Okay.
Ooh.
So any of your listeners that want this is a free bonus for everybody. They could just hop on my website, put it in there, and I'll send it over to them. But
that's awesome.
They sound simple, but they're things that really can help you to make a difference, to help keep you baseline right now. Because right now, if we can just stay baseline, that's something good. You know,
Could you read one of them? I'm just curious.
Yeah. Okay. Let me find out one of them. Okay. What one do I think?
Yeah, work one into like kids too, because I want to talk about that.
Okay. This one I'll do for kids. This is my favorite one for kids. This is a practice we do every night with my kids. Before we go to bed, we say 3 things that we're grateful for. Okay. So it's like for a while I fought the whole gratitude thing. Oh yeah, just be grateful for things and you'll be better, which was sort of annoying. But then I actually started practicing it and it helps shift your brain. It helps make you lean in towards the things that you already have that you should be grateful for. So even though right now we can't go to school, we can't go to grandma's house, we can't go to the beach, like there are still things we're thankful for. So every night, we've been doing this since before, but especially now, we say what we're thankful for. And we also say, the worst part of the day, best part. And I just recently threw in a mistake. One mistake you made and what you've learned from it, because I was always petrified to make mistakes as a kid. And I really want to teach them, like, it's okay to make mistakes. You got to learn from them, and that's how you grow.
Right.
So for kids, like being grateful, think about something that you're grateful for and have them write it if they're old enough that they want to write it. But we just talk about it every night before bed.
That's so cool. I love that.
I do that. I have my own journal where I write down 5 things every day. So I noticed as it got crazier and crazier, I was tired. I was just getting distracted on dumb stuff, and I wasn't doing my practices that keep me, So
that's a huge one. I just want to share that I put this up because that says gratitude right there.
Nice.
On my, and I know that it's hard though. Now it's just kind of blending into the wall and I'm not really doing anything. But for a while I was saying 3 things before going to bed, and it was amazing the shift. Big. And because I was kind of starting to feel funky and low, and just to say, I have a house, I have a privileged life, and that's so great. It's so simple, but it's really doing the work, right? Because
and it's doing it because like you said, it's so simple. It almost felt stupid to write it. It's like, here's the daily sanity checklist. Like, make sure you exercise. Make sure you are taking care of yourself and taking 5 minutes for you. Because right now, if we're all stuck in the house, or you're stuck in the house by yourself, or whatever, you feel like you have to do all the stuff that you didn't have to do. Carve out some time where you just do something because you like it for 5 minutes. Or like little things.
How much is too much? How do you find that balance right now? Like what are you
too
doing
much for what?
Too much self-care, too much, like I always have trouble with balance. Like
I think the biggest thing that the studies show, and especially right now in this weird time, is to set a routine. So setting a routine, that's something that can empower you. It can empower your kids, it can empower your roommates, it can empower whoever you're with. So what I do, that's what I was messing up on last week, before I had my meltdown, right? So then I was like, I need to set a routine that's real. So I have to wake up and exercise first with my kids. They play with me while I exercise, or I incorporate it with them, because I'm also like an athlete. So that's a separate story. But so I do my workout, and then we do homeschooling. So I set aside a time, like I'm refreshed from my workout. We do our homeschool. And then, I set a routine. And another thing that's been really important for me right now is I write down a list every day. I actually keep a new journal of the things I actually have to accomplish that day. Nice. And I don't call them to-dos. I call them accomplishment lists, because I don't want more to do. I want to accomplish more. So I just said that I make sure I do it, because there's like, my brain is like, woo, woo. I don't know if it's like for you guys, but it's like, I should go write this down. And then I get distracted over here. So this gives me something to stay focused on.
Totally.
So I put something on it, like for you guys, think about, and for the listeners, think about what you actually want to get done, what's important to you and what's not. And you can cut out time for other stuff. You don't need to scroll your social media for so long, or you may, watch more of that, whatever, Joe Exotic show or whatever, that Tiger show.
Tiger King. God,
Tiger King, like you can take what's important to you and make sure that you find time to do it. So it's simple, it's not easy, but you can do it.
Right. Yeah. What do you suggest people like delete social media? I mean, do you go extreme, or do you just kind of have good practices?
I don't know, because before I had like a really strict policy towards social media for myself, but I've sort of loosened them up now because one, we can't contact people in other ways. Now our main way to contact people is like on our phone, right? I was gonna pull my phone. So it's like staying connected, but it's what you choose to follow and what you choose to see. So like, following your guys' podcast and like getting the funny stories and the pictures of when you were whale watching, or, all these kind of things.
Very
That's
important.
Like fun, right? So like, don't follow people that are like posting these doom and gloom pictures of everyone driving around in masks, or, like follow like national parks and just get beautiful pictures of nature, or, cool succulent, like garden and, whatever lights you up, take time to do that and connect with people. And that's where I try to make my social media something that's going to be of value to people,
right?
Something that's going to share like things to empower them,
right?
As they go and stay connected.
And you have too. We did a little collaboration. Was it just yesterday? It feels like so long ago. But
I know, every day feels like forever.
Yeah, I know. But you did we did a fun little.
2 days.
Well, explain your project. This is so cute.
The first day that we were stuck at home, I was like thinking of all the parents who are just like, whoa, and like the working parents, people that have to all of a sudden entertain their kids full time. And I'm a coach. I love play and kids, so I'm like, what can I do? So I created a challenge and I call it We Write the Story 2020. So the day before, I was like sitting at home coloring with my 5-year-old, and I just love the moment of being like together, present, calm, just being together. And so the next day I was like, I'm gonna make this challenge for people where they can spend 20 minutes a day doing something cool with their family or their roommates or whoever they're with, and then share it with 20 people a week. So reach out to 20 people a week for the 2020. So it's a shift in the story. This is a crazy thing that we're having happen, but how can we shift the story and take advantage of all this time we have with our family? And how can we build our community and support people? And so I've just been posting games every day, and it was really fun doing it with Joelle. And it was so funny because it was like garden, and so we had like brainstorming, and she's like, I got inspired and we just picked up bugs from the ground. And I was like, oh, this is not my thing. Like I would not pick up bugs, and this is so cool. Wow. Because it was
the dirty work for you.
We
so but what did you gave her the subject of garden, and then the person can kind of choose what they want to do with it, or how does it work?
See if I can show you the picture of it.
Okay.
So we just talked, and I'm like, yeah, go for it. Cause I saw her posting cool games that she was already doing. So it's like, hey, do you want to collaborate on a game? Right. So she did a game in the garden, and here's sort of a picture of it. You guys can see it. She did all sorts of cool stuff where they collected bugs, and they, I don't know if you guys can see this, but you can find them on my social media.
Oh, that's so cool. There's snails. There's, snails, I think I saw that video.
Bugs, and there's little videos. It just basically, it's games. It's different games that parents can play with their kids. So they can just say, okay, for 20 minutes a day at minimum, we can do stuff. Like one day, one of my son's friends came and ding dong ditched us and dropped us a piece of artwork. And it was the best. So I said, hey, can I use that as a game? So now we've been ding dong ditching people and leaving things for them on their porch, and the kids love that. And like we made toilet paper race cars one day because I thought it was hilarious to use all the extra toilet paper rolls because of just a side joke of toilet paper.
Hey, you might need to wipe with it. You better save those.
Oh geez, yeah. No. But no, we'll have to wipe with race car version.
Yeah,
that's
anyways.
Awesome.
So it's just something fun, and to reach out and help people, bring some play and joy to their life, and reach out and stay connected to other people.
I love that you're calling it play too, because in my mind, I'm like, oh, this is a lesson. This is a garden lesson. We need to sit down and learn about bugs.
Yeah.
But you're like, no, it's a game. Make it fun. Make it a fun
Yeah.
game. And
That's how, yeah, go ahead.
again, it's just a new label. It's just a shift in your thinking of like, okay,
Right.
guys, let's go have some fun. And it's
Yeah.
true. It's so much fun. Like today in our little pseudo homeschool, which I'm having good days and bad days with it, but we're getting on track with it. But I just was like, you know what? Today's a free-for-all. It's a reading tournament. It's a reading party. And
Right, because how fun is it? I want to be in a reading
I'm
tournament.
like, go lay
Me too.
outside. Yeah, go.
Let's start our own reading tournament.
Yes.
Contagious tonight.
It happened
Yeah.
here.
Yeah. Find any comfortable
Hashtag
place.
reading tournament.
Yeah, we had one kid upside down, hanging off the couch reading, you know, up in the hammock under the trees reading. And then I just had him journal a little pseudo book report and a little, how are you feeling today? What'd you read about today? No big deal.
Yeah.
And then they clean the house.
Yeah.
That was the other half of homeschool. I got them to
That's a
clean my
great
house
thing.
for me.
Right.
So,
Work on the habits that you need help with. Like, put that into your routine.
Right. So
For
for the non-parents out there, or Jules, what kind of questions did you have? Because you have like a whole separate like perspective of this whole COVID thing. We're all dealing with everyone's under one roof. There's not a lot of space. You have a separate situation being in LA on your own. How are you feeling? What's going through your head? How would you use Laura's services if you could?
I mean, I am always asking the same questions, I feel, and I need to rephrase that of feeling negative about it. But it's my thing is usually just choosing one path in decision making, and I've always had that issue. So, you know, I like to do music, so I write songs and I put together music, and I love it because it's fun. And then I love to do filmmaking and directing and writing and doing funny comedy things. And, you know, I've had little successes in each thing. I used to do acting. It's always in the world of writing, or I kind of derived it down to being a storyteller. I love telling stories, whether it's writing a play, writing a song, writing a story,
doing a podcast,
and then bringing it to life, doing a podcast. This kind of incorporates a lot of those things.
Totally.
But yeah, I've never really had the ability to just, maybe I have, choose one thing and just focus on it. But for right now, I would love to shift a little bit out of doing what I've done in the film business, which is doing location work. And it's just kind of a grind, and it's, you know, it's turning into, so I would want to, if I were to use your services, it would be to get guidance on what kind of path to move towards.
Yeah. Well, that's perfect, because you're basically my ideal person that I like to help, because I help people that are busy, sometimes overworked, overwhelmed, stuck, just kind of like, I don't know where I should go, what I should do. So I help them to uncover what they really want. And then I give them games and tools to help them create a life that they love. So the thing is that it sounds to me like you just have so many talents and so many interests, and you're like, love doing all the stuff and expressing your inner storyteller, right? And so it's just keep on evolving with your life story, right? So you don't have to be stuck in one thing. It's like taking your mission statement. So first I would say make your own personal mission statement. So it's like what you want to do. And then you can either keep going with all your different things that align up within your mission statement, you know, or, you know, what's really nice about this time for certain people, like even if you get laid off, you're going to all of a sudden have this new time affluence, which is something that in the study of happiness, people don't really have. No one just has like bonus time to just sit around and think, or you know what I mean?
Right.
So it's a great time for you to sit with that and see what you like. Also, I can give this as a reference to your listeners and you as well. There's this VIA Institute quick online quiz that shows you your top strengths. So you can say, hey, these are my top strengths. Like mine is curiosity, set like learning. Like I always want to keep learning. I love like beauty and, you know, certain things like that helping. So you can find out what your signature strengths are, and then you can think about how you'd like to apply those to what it is you want to do.
And that's something, an online test through your website?
Yeah, no, it's just through another website. It's external. I can provide the link to you.
Okay.
Afterwards.
Yeah, we'll put links in our show notes too for everybody.
I can provide that too. So you can see how you can use your signature strengths in a new way every day, which helps to give you inner fulfillment. I don't know. There's so much to say to that, because it sounds to me like you have so many things you're passionate about, and you just you want to do them all and you don't want to give up anything, but you're really not sure where to go, but then you're not actually doing it. You're not like empowering yourself, or you're not in an empowering context. Like, even if you're doing it, you might be doing it great right now, but your context is off. And you're like, well, I'm not really doing this enough. I'm not doing this enough. But, you know, there's a lot of ways to look at it. So that's where I have a lot of games and tools. And actually, I have this for the book that I'm working on. I'm going to be taking applications for people to be beta testers or beta game testers. They can test my games and get some, you know, free coaching along with it. And then they can give me some feedback on my games and possibly some stories to include in my book. So if that's something you're interested in, I love you and any of the readers up, because I just love helping people, and I'm naturally fascinated in how to make the best life for everybody, and to keep adjusting. Like, because what's worked for you up till now, maybe you just need a new fresh start, or just you need to pivot and say, okay, well, I'm going to use these talents, but I'm going to use them over here now. And then make a plan and actually stick to your plan, you know, and that's something that can help people with.
That's
awesome.
awesome.
Super cool. And I like the pivot idea. It's not, it sounds, you know, that's what you use in your sporting life, right? You just
completely. Because you did that. You did this. Now you're ready. It sounds to me more like anything that you're ready for a new challenge. A new chapter of your adventure, you know.
That's what it is. I think that's what it is.
A new chapter.
Perfect. That's a better way to phrase it. It really is. Like, I feel like I've just kind of learned as much as I want to learn in this area.
You're like, okay, that's cool. You want to look for the new fun thing that lights you up. And if it doesn't light you up, then you're not going to bring your full passion, and you're going to feel stuck. You're going to feel like tolerating. You're going to make up lies that aren't even true. You know, so.
In the way that I hear many people in the world, and I'll stop talking about myself and my stuff because I know it could.
Yeah, but that's the thing. You wrote in the thing. You wrote, what's one of the biggest things that people get stopped in, and it's basically that is like they feel like they're just stuck. They don't have a choice, you know, and so it's taking time to think about it, and you know that's where I like to help people make it faster instead of being stuck in it and fighting it themselves for a long period of time. I help to accelerate them to the next level, so they can skip ahead to the next adventure rather than be like, what should I do? Like the waffling stage.
Right.
It's the waffling stage, and it's the, like Joelle and I were just talking about this, and it's the idea of starting over at the bottom, and the money that you might make at the age that you are.
Totally.
Which, you know, 25. Oh. But
your baby.
No. Well, I know, but I did it. I quit my job. Like I was going to say, like I was living in Sydney. I was living the life. I was in my 20s, right? I was getting my master's degree. I was like, you know, moonlighting as a tennis coach, traveling the world on the side. And then I was like, oh, I should go back to the States and get a real job. So I did. I moved back and I got a job in a digital marketing agency, which was really cool people. But then I was like, one night I woke up in the middle of the night having an anxiety attack. I practically lost my voice, and my sister / roommate at the time had to drive me to work the next day so I could resign, because it was just not right for me anymore. It wasn't right. And I said, that's it, I'm done. I'm sorry. I said, hey, I love you guys. I love working with them. I'm still in touch with my old coworkers. And then I was like, I told my, at that time, boyfriend, now husband, I said, you know, I'm going to quit. I'm going to do coaching. And he kind of laughed at me. He's like, what? You don't just quit your job. Like, you're a director of human relations. Like, why are you going to do that? I was like, yeah, I'm going to do that. You know, so then I quit and I started coaching tennis. I started leadership coaching and, you know, working on my studying happiness, and then got pregnant, had 2 boys. And now I'm just kind of taking the next chapter, you know.
Wow. That's bold. Good for you.
I know.
Be bold.
Yes.
Well, in our body, I feel like it tells us a lot if we listen to it. Panic attacks, you know, big sign.
That's
Good
really,
for you.
that's so wise. It's so wise. Listen to your body, for sure.
But then, you know, and I feel like we're over prescribed. People can just take anti-anxiety meds to get through the terrible situations that maybe if you
deal with it, try to work through it like the best you can.
Right. What would you say for people just in finding happiness? I keep hearing happiness, but right now it's a tough time for a lot of people not having that happiness, feeling depressed, feeling anxious. Maybe they did lose their job. They don't know where to go from there. Like, what would you,
I mean, it's super hard. So which people, I mean, like, because there's so many different groups there. The people that lost their job, we kind of touched on that a little bit. I would say, you know, I feel for you. That sucks. Like, that's hard. That's a hard thing. And it's a scary thing.
Yeah.
And, it's not easy. And just, try to do what you can to figure out where you want to go next and see what you can be grateful for. Find what's like one thing at least you can be grateful for that you have right now. And then, take that study and figure out what your strengths are and what you'd like to do. But sometimes you just have to survive, right? So you have to just survive first. You can't worry about thriving. There's all these things, thrive and not survive. But sometimes you just have to survive your day, survive the moment. Like take it, this great quote from Dale Carnegie is like, take it in 1 day chunks. I can make it through 1 day. And then tomorrow start again. I can make it through 1 day.
Right.
1 day at a time.
Right.
So that's what I would say for those kind of people. But for the other people that don't have like the immediate like need for survival, is just the daily sanity checklist.
Yeah.
Like focus on what's important to your own well-being and limit your exposure. Like be updated to the news, but don't inundate yourself with the news. Be up to date. But people that don't get into those heated, Facebook rants and conversation, and also balance the bad news with the good news. So that's what I was going to say for the kids having problems. Share with the kids and yourself all the good news and all the cool stuff that's happening as a result. Look for the helpers and do what you can to control. So if you can't, like if someone in your family is sick and you are just broken inside because you can't go and be with them right now, like what would you want to do for them? And take that energy and turn it to someone else that you actually can help in your community. Look for other ways that you can make a difference and just try to just be of service.
That's great
so
advice.
that you're like not thinking of yourself and you're just giving. Just give to others. That's what at least what I'm trying to do.
You said that Mr. Rogers quote that we just quoted too. Is that the look for the helpers?
Yeah, look for the helpers. It's so amazing, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like, because in times of these tragedies or whatever you want to call them, natural disasters, when you come together in person, and now it's like you go for a walk and you're seriously like banging off like magnets away from each other. You're like, wait, should I go that way? Which way should I go? And you're like, oh, their dog's coming by. I can't pet the dog. Will I give the thing? And there's so many weird thoughts that are going through your brain.
Right, right. Although it does kind of bring out these neighbors I've never met before too.
Totally.
So given the 6-foot distance, I'm actually connecting with neighbors I never knew before. So I am seeing that positive, and interesting. Well, I like your advice. That's really, really powerful to give and be grateful. I love all that. Now, Jules, we talked too about trying to volunteer, but it's a weird time. It's almost like you're doing better service staying home than you are going out and trying to help too much. So I guess, finding other ways to help people, even donating. I mean, if you can.
Or like purchasing gift cards to local restaurants or certain small businesses. That's another way that if you have the financial means right now to like practice abundance and giving and, I don't know. I'm sure there's more we could try to find of other ways. Like I know one of my son's teachers, she likes to sew. So they're like sewing masks to give to people. And, so there's a like different, use your own skills. That's like the cool thing about the world. Use whatever your gifts are to give back to people within your gifts. So
very good. And you have lots of them. You are so amazing, Laura. Honestly.
Thank you. Thank you. It's so sweet.
Yeah, I was totally digging into, you have a blog. So say the name of your blog too.
It's Chasing Havers. So that's my last name is Havers, Havers. So I was just kind of, it was like, I started off just sort of as a fun creative project, just because I love to write and express myself and learn. Basically what I like about coaching and writing is it holds me accountable. It makes me discover more ways to help, make my life better and make my family's life better, be better to my friends and my family, my husband. So,
and they're great blog posts too. It's not too preachy at all. Your personality comes through, and you totally talk about, your shortcomings, or, I went and secretly cried in the corner, and but then I thought about it, and you have very practical advice, but it's super educated advice too. You can tell that you know what you're talking about. So,
well, thank you. It's been real fun to do it. And like I said, it's just a good thing for people to think about is like, what do you love to do and how can you do it? Even if it's for yourself. Like it started off for myself, and then finally I was like, I should maybe share this with people.
Yeah.
Like I wrote that article, like being vulnerable, and it's like,
right.
I'm scared to post this right now, but why not just say the truth and move forward, own who you are,
right,
and just try to share it with people. And if they're not into it, then cool, they can read something else that they like they don't have to read it.
right. Scroll on by. I know. I was thinking that with my little garden videos. I'm just starting to dabble with doing these weird selfie videos, but I figured for people who don't know how to start a garden, now is the perfect time.
So good.
It's springtime.
Yeah, I know.
It's beautiful outside, and
I was so mad that my garden never worked. Who doesn't want their own fresh grown food right now? It's like the best thing ever.
My gosh.
Right. But a lot of people don't know where to start, or they're scared. And so even though I'm, holding this phone at weird angles and not in my best hairdo shape, I'm just throwing hats on and wearing but I'm like, you know what? Whatever. We're all
they're not going to be
together.
dressed up with makeup going to do their garden. I mean, maybe if they're in LA, I don't know. You tell me.
We're with masks now. We all have to wear masks as of midnight tonight.
Gardening.
Oh, really? Isn't it? Man, wow.
Yep.
But real.
But I love that vulnerability and trying new things and really giving space and time to yourself to figure it out and show your kids that too.
Totally. One of my favorite ones that I would say for people that are trying to figure out like what's next for them is I wrote one about how to fill your life with what's important to you. And I think a lot of people just are so busy. There's so many obligations. There's so many fun things to do. They don't actually think about what's actually important to them and their family. And they just get caught up in life, but they don't actually plan their life around what their priorities are. Right. So I kind of give like a little, glimpse into the coaching side of it, like how, like just like one idea of how to organize it, how to actually live a life that you love.
That's great.
So what's an idea of, you're saying that just something that your family, like you wanted to prioritize an idea, or like today we're good at love.
Like tell me something that you are one, like what was something that you think your listeners would be like, gosh, I really like that, but I just haven't managed to do that. Like you guys or your listeners.
I would think self-care for a lot of the moms. I hear my sister talk about how little you were so guilty stepping away from the kids. And I feel like that's, to me, but I'm selfish because I have no kids. It's crucial to have your alone time.
Yeah. Mom guilt time is massive. I had huge. Massive mom guilt, massive.
Woo! You ladies, I am sorry about that. But how would you say to feel okay to step away for an hour a day?
When you're on the airplane and they're like, please put on your oxygen mask first before you it's basically like that. So you have to have an open conversation with your husband or your partner or whoever you're sharing childcare with, and figure out a way that works for both of you. Figure out what they need, what you need, and work together to say it. Like, don't say like, I need to go out and do this with my friends. I'm going to happy hour tonight. You'd be like, hey, this really empowers me. Like, this really makes me feel good. Like, for example, when I started training for the Anarch World Beach Games, I'm a pro beach tennis player. Okay.
I love this too. We're going to do another podcast episode on this because this is
So when I decided, because I used to play beach tennis pro 10 years ago, and then I found out it came back. Like, it's going to be this huge tournament in San Diego. And I was like, I need to do this. Like my sister and I, she's my doubles partner. We need to do this. So I had to sit down and tell him, this is really important to me. This lights me up. Like this, I had to enroll him in it and get his, his buy-in, because I actually would go up, I'd be traveling to tournaments and he'd have the kids for the weekends, and it took a lot for me to do it, but the stakes were high for me because I really wanted to qualify for that tournament that we were supposed to host in San Diego. But then apparently the United States couldn't raise enough money, and the whole tournament was moved to the Middle East. And
that's also on your website. I read that story, and it's really cool, and you can see videos on there and everything. So
and so I had to pivot. And after it was over, I was so sad because I'm still growing beach tennis in San Diego, and I'm still competing in tournaments, although they're all postponed. They just sent a new email today from the ITF. They're postponed till at least July. Mm-hmm. But I realized I loved moving. I loved talking to people. I love meeting with people. And so I thought, how can I do that? How can I get back to my business, like with my coaching and with my writing? And how can I just be the best person I can be, so I can be a really good person to my kids. I can be a leader for them. I can be a good wife, a fun friend. So it's like, if you don't give yourself any time for you, then you're just going to bring your own levels down, and you're not going to be there for other people.
Exactly. Yeah. And
so
those permeate. Yeah. God, when I'm in a bad mood and can't get my stuff done, it just trickles down. Everybody's in a bad mood. So
totally. How do you get, I'm sorry, I'm going to get into this a little, because there's so many moms that won't have that conversation because there was a dynamic setup in your household, like a lot of breadwinner versus mom, or whatever the dynamic, it's set in stone, and it's very weird to shift that in some way. So getting someone to support you, or your partner to support you, do you just, it's a way of approaching and saying it to them of how important it would be for your well-being, or would they come to you and get that real big training?
There's so many ways you can approach it, depending on, like, I can give a tidbit of it, right? It's something depending on the specifics of the relationship and what's the stopping point. So there's specifics that you can help with for an individual, but like in a general statement, it's like, you know, being authentic and owning, like, the first thing that I would have to do in it is I wouldn't go to him and say, like, I need more space and I need more of this. I would come to them and say, you know what, I really messed up. I just thought I had to just do everything for this. I'd had to do for the kids. I had to do this. I ran myself ragged, and I would come and own my own where I messed up first. And I would say, I just realized that this is not working for me. And, you know, I don't know. And then I would own any impact it's had on him. Like, you know, I've been, you know, grumpy. I have been not taking showers you know, like whatever your things are, you know, that you're stuck in. And then I would say, you know, I'm thinking about this, and do you have any ideas, right? Like, have them coach, you know, like kind of coach them into it, like have them be part of the solution. Don't come in and say, hey, I want to just go out and do all this stuff, but have them, because they'd be like, what had you fall in love with me in the first place, and how can we re-spark that for me, and how can I be a better partner to you, and if I did this, that would help me be a better partner to you, be a better mom, you know. Just having honest communication, but owning up your thing. Don't come blaming them or saying what you want. And then trying to come up with some way that you could support them and make sure that they are feeling like loved and heard, you know, because they both, depending on like the situation, they both have their own concerns and different things that they're struggling with.
Absolutely. Yeah. I remember hearing, I think it was Dr. Laura, not that I subscribe to what she has to say at all, but back in the day when I was a new mom, I did hear a tidbit, which was, you know, really come in with thanks and praise and gratitude for your spouse, and really raise them up too, so that they come in feeling big and proud, and you can, you know, find that solution together when you're both in that positive space and appreciate.
Didn't she also say be a 1950s housewife?
Well, then there's that. Yeah, we pick and choose what we want to hear.
Oh man,
not downplaying her, but
find the nuggets. Find the nuggets in whatever you can.
So I do try to lead with that positive. Lead with a, you know, what is it? The compliment sandwich, right?
Yeah,
so you
right. But in an authentic way that you can like get behind. You know, but be like, you're my champion. Like, I love it. Be like, you know, help me. How do we? You know, how can we do this together? And like, how can we create our life together? That's what my husband and I really try to do. And you have to constantly recreate it because things change. I mean, last month we had free access to everywhere. Like, I was cruising to LA for the weekend, and now it's like, I'm not even cruising to the school. Like, I'm going nowhere.
So bizarre, this whole thing.
But it sounds like you have a nice, healthy balance. Did that take a while to figure out how to do in your own life? And
I think that everything I've studied has really been a blessing and really beneficial to that. Like, you know, communicating and talking and thinking and figuring out what I need and making that what I need a priority so that I can be there for other people. You know, and trial and error, you know, be uncomfortable sometimes doing what you feel like you want to do but you're afraid to do. Just do it and fail instead of just sit there wanting to do it and being pissed or being sad, or, you know, it's better to try.
Absolutely. Good.
I
love it.
I love this.
I know. And I love your we write the story 2020 hashtag. And it's a great thing to do, and just work into part of your homeschooling schedule if you can. Just find a little moment with your kids, take a picture, post it, whatever, share it.
I'd love to see what everyone comes up with and their own creative takes on it. It's like super fun to just let everyone's creativity, go wild.
Right. And who knew we had these inner teachers inside of us? All of a sudden I'm like, I'm an educator. Hey, who knew? I mean, I had my garden thing, but all of a sudden,
right. You didn't know you're an educator. That's you're so funny. You're like, I'm the neighborhood mom, just a mom from the neighborhood. That's what she said in your video. And I laughed and I was like, yeah, you're just another neighborhood mom. Like, as in like garden ninja, podcast ninja. You're up to so much stuff. And
it is
give yourself
fun.
some big credit for that.
Oh, thanks. No, and I think we all are. We just had a psychic reading and she said we're manifestors.
So good.
So, and I think you are too, Laura. I get that same energy from you where like, we're so excited to try this and try that and do this. And so homeschooling is just another one of those challenges that we can jump into with positivity and hope and gratitude. And so I love it. I think it's a great
do the best you can each day because every day is different.
Yeah.
One day at a time.
Yeah. And flexibility. I like that you posted about that too, is just, giving yourself a lot of room to fail or try new things and a lot of grace.
And everyone's going to have meltdowns. Everyone's going to have meltdowns, extra meltdowns. Adults are having meltdowns. Kids are having meltdowns.
Yeah.
It's just okay. Have your meltdown. Let it out.
Right. Exactly.
Move through it.
Good.
And I love, quickly, I know we're trying to, but failure as being an important part of learning, and how I just heard the person who created Spanx, and I can't even remember her name.
Yeah, totally. I should know her name too.
Yeah, I know, she's so cool, and it was
like
it was on the masterclass series. But she had said her dad used to take him at the dinner table, and he would say, "Okay, so what was your best failure today?" And she said she really felt comfortable failing, which is how she was able to keep going with her business. And I think that's so important to hear, because there's so many perfectionists. Yes,
Sarah Blakely. Okay, sorry.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Creator Spanx.
Great story.
Yeah.
Great story. So
but I love that you said that too. And I think also I hear a lot of the moms and my sis talking about what, worried about screwing up and screwing up.
Yeah, and when you screw up, which you are going to screw up, you say, I screwed up. So I say my mistake every day too. This is my mistake. This is what I learned.
That's good.
So they know, like, I make a mistake every day.
And they're not
at least one. I mean, we only do one because
because we're pretty darn.
Because they would stall and they would stay up very late if we just did as many mistakes as they wanted to say, right? Seriously, late nights.
And I have Charlotte's a little bit of has the perfectionist gene, which I was kind of like paralyzed by as a little girl too, which follows you into your adulthood. And there's nothing worse than that anxiety of having to do everything perfectly. So I love
completely. Yeah. Well, that's my one of the posts I've been working on next is my word of the year this year was wabi sabi, and in like embracing the beauty of the imperfection. And little did I know that there's total imperfection going on right now. So it's like finding the beauty.
So what are you saying? Wabi sabi?
Oh, wabi sabi. Okay. Have you heard of what? It's like
no, I don't know what this is.
Philosophy. It's not. There's no like specific definition for it because it's this beautiful concept. But like they have a practice like if they break a glass, they glue it back together with like golden glue to like, embrace the imperfections. And life is meant to be lived, and there's going to be dings in the car and dings in the couch and spills on the floor, and just, appreciate what you have and, find beauty in it.
Okay. So my gross couch I gotta post is so wabi-sabi.
All the fun times, all the movie nights, all the pizza.
Yes. Yeah. Popcorn grease for sure. I love that. Okay, cool. Well, I'm going to look for
now I have to write that one because I just said it. So I got to post that one up and edit it for post-coronavirus era and get that one up there.
So what is your ending? It's to talk about one of your mistakes. Can you say it again for people?
Yeah. So I say there's 3 things you're grateful for. And then the worst part of your day, which when they were in school, I really appreciate because I don't know what they do. I'd say like, how was school? Good. So at night, they'd finally tell me like some actual stories from school. The best part of the day, and then a mistake you made and what you learned from it. That's what I find the important part. And then both kids have like their own order that they prefer to do it in. So whatever order they like to do it in,
So cute. I love that.
So that's how we end the day.
We need to get back to that. We used to be really good about sitting around the dinner table and we do our highlights and lowlights. That's what we called them.
Totally.
now everybody's so independent and we just grab our food and plop down and watch shows and so gotta get
right.
back
It's
to
like
that.
putting back the practices back,
Yeah.
find a way to work them in new. Maybe you need to readjust it as they've gotten older.
Right.
You know.
Right.
And do you think, I keep asking questions. I know, are we trying to, do we need to go?
You can help me edit this. You're all good.
I'm having fun. I'll chat it up. I love it. That's what
Okay.
I said to Mouse. I said, all these questions, I could talk forever about them. They're so
I know.
interesting. You know?
They're big questions. These are big life
I was like,
questions.
I could do each one their own.
Yeah. Yes, I know. We have that whole list for you. Oh my God.
She lives right down the street and we can Zoom again. She can be our recurring guest. This is good.
That's cool. But just about having dinner time, is it important to have TV off and connective time with kids?
I guess I have to say yes to that. But I grew up in a house where we had family dinners together. We had Sunday night dinner in the living room and we'd watch like the Disney movie and eat pizza. So that was Sunday night dinner. But we eat dinner together every night, and my husband he actually works from home in regular times. So we try to eat a lot of meals together. Just as a time to sit down, be together, talk. On occasion, we'll put the TV on if we're like, done. But we try just to make sure that we get that time, enjoy our food, eat slowly, savor each other, savor the experience, be together. It doesn't always work great. Sometimes it's like, eat 4 more bites of vegetables. Oh my gosh, like all those funny things. But, the best you can.
Good for you.
Together,
Yeah, that is important time. And the kids kind of do light up when everything is turned off and their focus, our focus is on them. I've noticed that too. The kids are really
put away your phones.
Yes, they're like, Mom is really focused on us because I'm homeschooling them, and all of a sudden I've got their undivided attention, and they're kind of digging it. It's interesting.
Yeah, it's a fun quality time.
Yeah, it's a lesson for me in what was missing before. So that's my silver lining.
That's good.
Cool. Oh my gosh.
Finding the silver lining. That's good. I have to write that one down too, because that's definitely
a lot
finding
of
the silver lining in life, because there's lots of dark clouds, but you got to find the silver lining.
Right.
That's great.
It's out there.
So when we look at your website, how does someone get a coaching session, or is it all pretty well explained there?
So if you go on my website, there's at the top, you can click for the daily Sanity checklist, and then you can send me a message, and we can touch base on what works for you, like what you're looking for. I'm having some group sessions opening up and some one-on-one. I offer a free discovery call for people, and it's just this crazy time, so I'm happy to help and connect people, and it's nice to see people on Zoom. Like the Zoom is like my new living room. It's like, hey guys, welcome. Let's share our experience. Let's, relate through this stuff together. So yeah, sign up on there. And then I think I'll try to add a new page that's like a sign up for my beta tester group for the game on, because I'd really love to get people's feedback about my games before I go to finalize my book and get that going. I like to test them out, and I like to get other people's stories. So you guys are fun and hilarious, so I'd love to hear how you guys play the games and get some of your stories.
That'd be cool.
Put in, so
count us in. That's awesome.
For sure.
Yes.
Yeah, and they can send me. Anyone can email me out. That's on or send me a DM on Instagram.
All right.
And then we can check out some of your beach tennis, which we'll get to next time. It's so cool.
The beach tennis is at a different account. That's at the Maloney sisters. That's my sister and I. So they're two separate, and you can see a little bit on the blog about it. Like basically when we were just bummed about the World Beach Games getting moved, but got to give your best, and then you fail. That was it. We didn't do that. It was it didn't happen. So
you still showed up. Good for you.
Now I'm here with you guys. So there's a new adventure around the corner. You just gotta, get there.
That's awesome. Good attitude. I love it.
I know. Positivity. Yeah. This has been great. We need a little more of this.
Now I'm going to go to sleep.
Yeah.
Please go to sleep.
Get good sleep.
Get some sleep.
Oh.
Do a little meditation. I love the Calm app. If you guys haven't tried that, it's like the best guided meditation.
Yes.
Go to
Calm
sleep.
app.
Calm.
Yeah, Calm.
Right? App. The app. Yeah.
Oh.
The word calm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Good one.
Yay. Well, Laura Haver, thank you so much for being on with us. You're amazing.
Yeah, it was my pleasure.
Yeah, go to chasinghavers.com and all the social media places at Chasing Havers on Instagram. And you have a really very pretty sensibility about your posts and stuff too. So they're very pleasant to look at. They make me feel happy and clean.
Fun to, use some of the stuff. So thank you so much for having me. Hi, everybody. I hope everyone is doing great out there in the world, and sending all love and support and happy vibes. And we can do it together. I know it's scary and it sucks, but just, put in your practices for your well-being every day. And, there's emotional contagion. So if you can do your best to be your best attitude, you can help spread it and be the ripple effect. And we can build up this love and hopefully come out the other side of this and reconnect in the world. And
I love it.
So yeah.
Absolutely. 100%.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
All right.
Thank you, Laura.
Okay. Good night.
Have a great night.
Okay. Bye.
Bye.